Hey guys, my name is Katerina Barrie. Welcome to the reading for all the 12 zodiac signs for the month of May. Before we get started, I would like to make a disclaimer that I only read for the present moment because the present moment contains all the answers we need regarding our past and regarding the future that we are creating for ourselves. So this is not a fortune-telling session. However, I do want to also highlight that whenever you see this reading, whenever this information reaches you, is the right time for you to receive the message that the card that you will see contains. What I mean by that is if you watch this reading before the start of the month of May or during the month of May, whenever you hear this information, that is the exact right time for you to receive it. I will be pulling a card for every one of the 12 zodiac signs. Now, if you want this reading to be more accurate for you, I would suggest looking not only into your sun sign, which is the sign that most of us know, but also into your moon sign and your rising sign. This information can be found if you have an astrological chart or if you use one of the apps that creates a chart for you. And in order to know your rising sign, you have to know pretty specifically the time of your birth. Now, this can vary, but I would suggest looking a little deeper into that if you want to know what all of that means. We will be getting started in a few seconds. I'm shuffling the cards, getting ready to draw the first card, which will be for the sign of Aries. And like I said, I will be going in order. I will be taking breaks to write down the timestamps for each of the signs. So I am pulling a card for Aries. So we have a Eight of Pentacles reversed. And so with this card, there's something that has been, there's a stagnation that has been happening in your life. Now, the area of that life can be related to professional matters, such as matters of finance, matters of work, matters of professional training, apprenticeship. This may be a craft, something that you do with your hands. This may be a routine. This may be a process. This may be a system that you use in order to maintain productivity or to get consistently improved results. This can do with quality control. This can do with management. This can do with any kind of creative but also productive endeavor that as a result of you create something tangible. Now, what this card is talking about in this reversed position is that at this time, it feels that the old processes are no longer working. It feels that the old patterns, the old systems that you've been using for this output, to produce this output, to produce these results, the process is no longer working. Things are no longer coming together the way they used to. Maybe there is no need for this anymore. Maybe you just feel really kind of bored and like this isn't interesting to you anymore. Like it feels pointless or meaningless. Like it's not exciting. It seems like there is no reason to keep doing this anymore. And with this card, the biggest recommendation is to step away from this activity, to step away and to really give yourself a break. Don't try to think of whether to quit now or to resume. Don't try to analyze and come to an immediate conclusion of like, okay, I'm going to stop this and start something completely new. I'm going to quit this altogether and launch a brand new process. I'm going to scrap all the, years of my previous work and change direction. This isn't really an invitation to do that. This card is telling you to step away. You're too close to this and it's not going anywhere at the moment and it's not getting resolved. So your advice with this card is to take a step back, give yourself a break and do something meaningless, maybe mindless. Do something fun, relax, do something that has nothing to do with work. Maybe play with your kids if you have any, maybe, talk to your plants, maybe watch some fun television show. Or this card is telling you to take this time as a break and to not rush into the next chapter of knowing what's going to be the next thing for you. Just appreciate this time for what it is, and try to stay open-minded, and don't push yourself so hard, and don't try to make this work, because most likely there are other things going on right now that are preventing this from going the way that it used to go. So just take a break, take a step back, and see how things naturally develop. It may be hard for you to do, but this is the advice of this card for the month of May. Now I'm going to be shuffling the cards now and going on to the sign of Taurus. Taurus is going to be next, and I am getting ready to see what that card is. The card for Taurus that we have for the month of May is the Ace of Cups. Now, this card is it's really big. I actually need to make a stamp here. So this card is love. This card is your cup is full. Your soul is fulfilled. It's feeling aligned. It's everything is coming together. You have this energy that you are ready to share with others, this breakthrough, this clarity, this light. As you can see, there's this light pouring into the cup, and the light is pouring from the eye. And I think the idea is to see people through the light that they all are, that we all are, not seeing through the eyes of judgment, not seeing through the eyes of, comparison, not seeing through the eyes of worry or concern or criticism, but seeing through the eyes of love, seeing through the eyes of light, seeing others as this concept of namaste, as others who also contain the same spark of God essence as do you. So this is really a beautiful, amazing chapter for you, my Taurus friends, because this is joy, this is happiness, this is celebration, this is coming together, and this is feeling just very blessed and grateful, and being able to share that with others and guide others with that energy, and possibly give others inspiration and courage and faith, and just shining your light so brightly that others also feel safe and welcome to shine their light. As we can see also in this card, there's a bunch of rotating moon cycles. So this is intuitive guidance. This is using your intuition as key to unlock relationships, to resolve conflicts, to appease concerns, to alleviate stress, using your intuitive guidance to help others, not doing what you think is right or what you think they need, but what feels right, what feels, like something they will appreciate, even if it doesn't make logical sense, So this is the message for you, Taurus. Such a beautiful, joyous card. Very happy for my Taurus friends. I'm going to be shuffling again and moving on to the sign of Gemini. Now, some of you may know that is my sun sign. So to myself and the fellow Geminis, I will be pulling the next card. Let's see what it is. We have the King of Wands. So writing down minute marker here, but this is a very fiery king. And the king doesn't necessarily have to do with a man in your life, but it can. However, with these readings, what I'm looking at mostly is how this card reflects you and your own energy. And with this card, we see someone who is not comfortable with heavy burdens of responsibility and authority and kind of being looked up to as a leader, or holding some position that requires consistency and discipline and repetitive routines. This is a very adventurous king. This is an energy of exploration. This is the energy of conquest, of challenge, of debates, of fiery discussions, of creativity and creative spark, and starting something new and leading a new innovation and a different movement and the change and all of that, fun, playful, fiery, explorative energy. But when we see this energy placed on the throne and crowned and given this kingship to hold, they become restless and unsettled, because they're like, wow, with this responsibility, I'm not going to be as fluid as I like. I'm not going to be able to, go here and go there and take on this conquest and then switch to another one as much as I like. I'm actually going to have to be here and on this throne, ruling, doing these things, following through with these responsibilities and these, these disciplinary measurements. And it bugs this king. But this is a card of growth. This is a card of stepping up to the plate. So this card is not an advice to cower, away from the responsibility, or run away from a new, from a new role that you are called to fulfill. This is asking you to temper your fiery energy, your creative, explorative, questioning, curious nature, but not to change that nature, but to just look at the higher meaning of this type of service. Look at the cause for this, and look at what it will mean to others, like how you can help others, and what holding this office, so to speak, will do for the people who need you there. And this may not be permanent. This can be temporary, or this can be just something that you learn to incorporate into your life. And yes, you will have to balance it with your more spontaneous, more spur of the moment pursuits. But this card is coming up for a reason. There's a call for you to step up. There's a call for you to serve on this new higher level. And though you may not be completely comfortable with it, there's a reason others want you there. There's a reason there's this call, this urge to do this. It has a lot of meaning, not just on your journey, but on others' journey as well. So this card is an invitation. This isn't like a, time to bail card. It's a card that tells you can do this, and there's a reason that you're called to do this. So don't run away from this. So Geminis, I hope this was helpful. I know it speaks to me very deeply as a Gemini. I'm going to be moving on to the Cancers now. So for the Cancers, I have a Four of Cups upright. Now, this card is talking about boredom. It's talking about not being really satisfied with what's going on. This card is talking about kind of having this meh energy, like, ugh, I guess I'll do it. Ugh, I guess I'll, but not really being excited about what you have at the moment or what's going on. Now, this is an emotional card. This is a water card. This is talking about relationships. This is talking about social life. This is talking about partnerships. This is talking about your work circles or any kind of professional settings, no matter what it is that you're actually doing. And so you're daydreaming, you're finding yourself thinking about how things could be a lot more exciting. You may be comparing yourself to some other examples that you see around you. There's a lot of toxic stuff that you can find online, especially at a difficult time like a national crisis, or international rather crisis. But there's a lot of people that are thriving. There's a lot of people that are showing off. There's a lot of people that are only posting, the shiny, pretty pictures, but behind the scenes, they're also struggling. They're just not displaying that. So you may be a little kind of distracted by that. You may be seeing a lot of these kind of maybe not fake, but they're not completely honest examples of how everyone's doing so much better. And you're maybe thinking, well, I'm not doing so well. So I'm kind of dissatisfied. And so you may be kind of bringing yourself down a bit, like emotionally, like, I'm really, this could be a lot better. And look at others having it so much better than me. Like, oh, I wish I had that. But this card is telling you that don't pay attention to this. This isn't this distraction. It's not real. It's an illusion. And what you should be focusing on is gratitude, because you have a lot going on that you are not appreciating enough. You're not giving yourself enough credit for. You're not seeing, how this is where it's all headed and how this is all actually such a great situation that you're in. There's a lot that you're not paying attention to. And, you might accidentally knock one of these cups off, metaphorically speaking, if you don't pay attention. So this card is asking you to focus on what's going on with you versus what's going on with everyone else. Focus on what you have, and maybe take some measures to eliminate these distractions. Maybe limit your social media scrolling time. Maybe, stop looking at these posts that kind of upset you. Maybe unsubscribe from some people. That's maybe not the energy you need right now. And there's magic going on all around you. This eagle, there's a squirrel, there's a little rat. I mean, there's a lot going on in this picture, and it's all these little things, these little blessings, these little moments. And you're distracted by something that has nothing to do with you, that is probably not even real. So this card is telling you, wake up. You got some magical stuff going on. Just pay attention and appreciate it, and look how more magical it's going to become. So this is your card, Cancers. I'm going to move on to now. Oh, and I didn't mark the Cancer card. I'm going to have to find that timestamp. But I'm moving on to Leo now. Let's see what card we have for our Leos. And the card is Page of Cups. I'm going to mark the timestamp. And so, Leos, this card is telling you that you are studying, learning, coming into closer, better understanding of something really magical. This card, in some definitions of tarot, literally reads the student of magic. Now, what does that mean, the student of magic? Well, if you pay close attention, the student right here, this page, he's holding this cup, and there's light inside of it. So what that means is whatever gifts you have, whatever inspiration you have, whatever skills you have, whatever special talents and abilities you have that really set you apart from everyone else, it's all bubbling up now to where it's going to be something that you're going to be able to share with others in a meaningful, creative, supportive, inspiring way. It's going to be something that you can give to others, that can be really anything. There's no limit on creativity. This can be anything from business idea to art to creating some experience, to innovation, to discovering some new idea, to helping someone break through, to being realizing that you can serve people as like a coach, a mentor, or a teacher, or whatever it is. It's something that's extremely valuable to others that is not manifest yet. That is something that is a potential within you. So it hasn't happened yet. You haven't done this yet. You haven't really been doing this yet. It's just bubbling up, and you're getting ready to have this breakthrough of like, wow, this is a new direction for me. This is a new course. This is a new way that I will be able to serve others. You're getting there. And this card is asking you to hone these skills. To, if you've been kind of holding something, or something has been kind of just stirring within you, about a thing you're passionate about a thing you're interested in, about an expression or a form of art or a form of creativity, or any kind of anything that is like inspired by something within you. Something is inspiring, something is either making it meaningful or necessary, or you just can't stop thinking about it, something like that. Now is the time to focus all of what you got on this thing. You have the time, you have the space. If you don't create space, because you can right now, otherwise this card would not have come up. And it's asking you to go all in and really, really give yourself permission to say, I can actually be really great at that. I can actually do like really, really great at this. And get serious about it, because you can. This is a very promising, exciting invitation kind of card. It doesn't promise anything in the future, but it's promising because you have what it takes. And it's a confirmation, but it all will depend on whether you respond to this invitation and take it and run with it, or whether you'll kind of like idly watch it, just unravel itself and maybe not take action. But definitely take action, because this can be your new thing and you can be the best at it. So this is something to think about for you, Leos. Very interesting card. And I definitely felt very much of this intuitive energy that was like, yeah, do it. This is for you. This is your thing. Make it yours. So I'm shuffling cards now. I'm moving on to Virgo. And Virgo, let's see. I'm getting a sense to do an extra shuffle over here for some reason. Okay, so now I'm ready to pull the Virgo card. And the Virgo, interestingly enough, has a Hanging Man card. The Hanging Man card is very... making a stamp, trying to not forget. The Virgo card is, the Hanging Man card is what Virgos are getting for the month of May. You guys are like, this is the energy of having your world turned upside down. I know you Virgos. I have a lot of Virgo friends. As I mentioned, I'm a Gemini, and Geminis and Virgos have the ruling planet of Mercury. So we are kind of mental, all of us. But my Virgo friends, whereas Geminis are kind of all over the place and like totally spontaneous, Virgos are pretty structured. Virgos are organized. Virgos like their order. Virgos like to excel. They like to be the best. They like to win. And I love you guys for that. But Virgos like their order, and they like things to be as things should be. And certainly Virgos do a lot of work to keep the order, to clean, to organize, to make sure everything is right as it should be, to connect all the dots, to arrange all the things in order. And that's very important to them. To you guys. Now, when things get out of hand that Virgos have nothing to do with, and there's nothing that they can do to either contain it or stop it or make it, go back, it can be very distressing. But the Spirit of Time is teaching you something extremely important. It's showing you that even with the world upside down, you're still very connected to your purpose, to your core, to your mission. And with this card, I'm getting that a lot of you are getting really, like, maybe you were pissed off at first. You were like, I hate this. I don't like how things are going right now. This is totally out of control. But then you were like, maybe even with a little bit of like out of spite, maybe a little bit of even angry energy, like, you know what, I'm gonna make this work no matter what. I'm gonna do my thing, even though, this all is going on. And you have been able to do this, and it's not been easy, but you're being shown that no matter what happens around you, you are powerful enough to have your way and to continue doing what it is that you're here to do and thrive. So this card is actually, it is a big shift. You're still not okay with what's going on, but you really need to, take time and give yourself some credit, because you're doing really well and you're making things work even when they technically shouldn't work. You're making things work for you, and you're doing the best you can, but you're finding the way. And so this card is asking you to, in the month of May, just pay attention to how many, and these can be little or big things, but how much overcoming you're doing, how much perseverance, how much resilience you have, how much willpower, and how you're just, with the sheer force of your will and your purpose, you're making it work. And this is something to praise yourself for and something to take credit for, because not everyone can do this. And you're really inspiring others to also take this world upside down situation maybe a little differently, and maybe own up to, them using it as an excuse to, avoid responsibility or what have you. You're showing how it's done, and you're doing a great job at it. So congratulations, Virgo. You're really leading this time of transformation, and you may not realize it, but others see it too. So now I'm going to be moving on to the sign of Libra. So I have a card that just flew out, and that's what I'm going to go with. Timestamp. So with this card, dear Libras, we have a happy, simple, beautiful, joyous life. There isn't much going on in this card in terms of structures, but it is a very eloquent, very, very simple yet very sturdy, kind of like a summer gazebo. That there is no solid foundation other than the earth. There are no walls other than these, posts. There is no roof other than the flowers, but sometimes that's all you need. This card is showing a very happy time. There's balance, there's harmony, there's understanding, there's simplicity, there's letting go of things that are distractions, that are toxic, that are stressful, and just focusing on the present moment and the joy of the present moment. So what this means to you in the month of May is to continue to stay in this paradise that you've created. And at times you may feel a little guilty because others may be struggling a lot more or having a lot more stress, especially at this time, and maybe they're unable to cope as well. And you kind of feel almost like guilty, like maybe you should struggle a little too, and maybe you're having too good of a time. But don't get into that mentality. That's not going to help anyone. It's going to drag you down. It's going to drag the people closest to you down, and it's not going to help heal or help people that already feel down. It's just going to make more people feel bad. So don't fall for that. You are actually very uplifting. You're teaching an important example of how to protect yourself and your closest ones from the pressure, from the conditioning, the fear mongering, constant stress mentality. You're showing people, listen, there's a different way to do this. You can just focus on what's going good, and you can focus on the people you love, and you can focus on uplifting each other, and you can focus on finding gratitude for the simple things, for the little things, for things that are working. And you can have a better time, a better life. You can have a more joyous moment. And that's extremely important. So don't leave this paradise. Don't descend into the dumps. That's not going to help anyone. Stay there and keep shining your light. Keep showing others that they don't have to constantly live in fear and stress and paralysis of just being so totally stressed out. Yes, things are out of control. Yes, things are happening that are scary, but that's not something that you necessarily have to focus on. You can focus on something different and you can have a different experience. So applause to you guys. Applause to my Libras. You guys are doing great. Keep shining your light. Keep focusing on what's around you. Keep focusing on the little things and being grateful, and your family and your loved ones. And maybe don't, maybe don't look at social media. Maybe don't watch the news. Maybe even take a break from all that, because if it starts to kind of drag you down, just close that door, because that's not going to help anyone. So I'm going to be moving on to Scorpios in a second, and pulling this card for Scorpios. Let me put a timestamp to that. We have the Devil card. Whew. Okay, this is talking about addictions. This can be negative patterns. This can be doing something when no one's watching. Okay, so I have a lot of Scorpio friends. I know the Scorpio energy. You guys are extremely intelligent. You're extremely methodical in everything you do. You do everything very intentionally. You don't trust people easily. They have to earn that trust. So you're a little bit secretive, but not because you have something to hide, but more because you like to separate your professional self from your personal self. But what's been happening, I think, is the professional self doesn't really have to be as active, because maybe your activities have shifted a little bit. Maybe you're not doing the same things you were doing before. Maybe you're not exposed to other people as much. Maybe you're not having as many public appearances now at this time. And so what you may have been kind of doing is in the shadows, you've been maybe giving in to your darker side. And what I mean by darker side and the Devil card, this has nothing to do with good or evil. This has to do with doing something that is serving you versus doing something that is fueling your fire, but maybe in a kind of dangerous way, to where you're getting a little bit addicted. So these can be alone behaviors, relationship behaviors. These can be excessive consumption of something. These can be thoughts. These can be like gossip. These can be any number of things. But they're not really serving you, and you know that. But they're just kind of fun, and they're like, I'll just play a little bit. But what you know about yourself is that you have a little bit of an addictive personality, and even though it feels like you're kind of sliding off the radar right now, you're not so much in the public eye. Maybe you don't have to uphold the standards that you typically ferociously uphold, but you got to watch this, because devil is not something that has power over you. Devil is something you choose to give your power away to. And what I mean by that is when we develop an addiction, when we develop a trait or behavior pattern that doesn't serve us, and all of a sudden you're like, wow, it's not serving me, but I can't stop doing it. It's not that the devil, creeped into your life and was like, okay, now you have to listen to me. No, it's you've given your power away to this pattern so much that this pattern has become kind of like a part of you that you don't really know how to dissolve. You can, but it becomes hard. So this card is kind of like a warning. Don't let it become a pattern. Don't let it become a thing, because you're going to have a hard time getting out of it, or maybe even unraveling the consequences of it. So just be mindful. And I think you know what I'm talking about with this card. It usually points to something that's known to the reader. And it's something that is a behavior, that is a choice that you're choosing a little too much. And you might want to tap that while you can. This and you will always be able to, but things get out of hand sometimes. Like this fire, it can get out of hand and out of control. So So be mindful, my Scorpio friends. This is all within your hands, by the way. There's nothing that has power over you, but don't give your power away so much to that darker nature. Maybe balance it out a bit and just kind of keep it in check in the month of May. So we're moving on to the sign of Sagittarius next. Let me do an extra shuffle. Okay, interesting. Sagittarius is Ace of Pentacles. So this card is talking about a gift of life. Not just, it's a gift of life on earth, and it's a gift of having a physical body, having an ability to have the senses that we have as human beings, having an ability to appreciate delicious food, to feel the grass on our bare feet when we're walking, you know, in the summer, to feel the breeze on your skin, to inhale a beautiful, amazing, delicious aroma of a I don't know, apple pie, and to bite into a slice of that pie and to taste the deliciousness of that pie. It's all the sensual pleasures, it's all the physical pleasures, but it's also things like creating, you know, material creation, and not just creating wealth or not just having a big nice house, but it's telling you, you know, you can turn your ideas into reality. You have the magic of coming up with an idea and making something of it, whether it be a piece of art, a letter to a friend, you know, an email message that changed the course of events, that that maybe shifts someone's perspective, a phone call that you can make to uplift someone, any physical action that you can take in this world and on earth, from, you know, either from inspiration or from an idea or from a feeling. That's the magic of being human, of being physical. So this card is ultimately telling you that you are the master of the material world. Are you the only master? No, we're all masters. If you are more on the religious side and or, you know, you appreciate kind of the some of the most common religious teachings of our time, then you will remember that the earth was given to the children of God, to people, as, you know, as a place to work on, to have children, you know, to make their own, to really appreciate and nurture and build. So this is the gift. It's not that you own the world. It's that that world is a gift for you to create in. This is a place where you can make your ideas happen, where you can make your dreams come true, where you can take a thought and make it into reality, where yes, you can build wealth. Yes, you can have a nice big house if that's what you want, but that may not be. And there's no judgment on what you should or shouldn't want. The truth of this card is you can have anything you want. And in the May, this card is asking you to connect to this power within, to this inherent ability to create, to this inherent ability to experience the material physical world in the sensual way, in the meaningful way, in the purposeful way that, you know, that fulfills you and helps others. You have a lot of power, and this power within you right now, you really can do whatever you set your mind to. And this is not mental, this is not, you know, just spiritual, this is not just emotional. This is talking about making real things, making very, very real things right here on earth. So tap into that power and really meditate on how powerful you are to be able to have an idea and create something of it. Even if you have a thought and you write it down on a piece of paper, you've made something real out of something that was just a thought, out of something that was kind of like air, you know. So this is very mighty, and really kind of contemplate what can you do with this power? How much can you create with this power? How much you can change the world with this power? How much you can change your world with this power? and meditate on that. So now I'm going to be moving on to the sign of Capricorn. Now, Capricorns, I'm doing a little bit of a shuffle here and pulling your card. So we have a Nine of Cups. And the Nine of Cups is finding the missing piece. Missing piece of what? Well, missing piece of your quest. This is, it has to do with emotional matters as much as it has to do with kind of like community oriented, motives. This can be talking about your mission to help someone, your desire to complete a certain part of your journey that was dedicated to a project, that was dedicated to finding something. Or it can be an emotional quest, like you were looking for something missing within yourself, or you were trying to connect with someone in your life who for a while was missing, this has to do, and I know I'm being a little vague in terms of like, this can be a person, this can be your own kind of quest, this can be a situation or missing piece of yourself as a complex being. But all of these things have one thing in common. They have meaning to you. They have emotional meaning to you. So it is that sense of completeness that you're experiencing in May, that sense of, at long last, getting that missing element into place, at long final last, being able to complete that mission, that journey, at long final last, reconnecting to that aspect of yourself or to that other person that has been, missing for a while. But the overall sense is joy, celebration. This is the sense of wholeness that you now have is something very precious, and you've been looking towards it for quite a while. So this is definitely worthy of celebrating. And however, this card is also telling you not to rest on your laurels too much. And the reason for that is this coming together at long last is happening now for a reason. There is a reason this is completing now, because there's something that you will now be able to do. It's not time to do it yet, but this card is just telling you, be mindful. Don't get too caught up in just kind of like, celebrating and just being like, oh, I've completed this, now I'm gonna just not do anything. Like, that's not necessarily what you're doing, but this card just has a little bit of that undertone of warning. Don't get a little too carried away with the celebration part. Definitely celebration is in order, but keep in mind that the task will present itself. The new challenge is about to present itself. The new the new step in your journey, the new level of growth. And it's only possible because this is complete now. So it's coming. Celebrate, but don't get too carried away, because it's gonna come soon, and you're ready, but you just need to be kind of alert and in a ready to go mode. And whatever is going to present itself, it's going to have to do with growing beyond who you are now and challenging your status quo, your comfort zone. So, this is exciting. This is going to be a new level for you for sure, but it's only possible because you finished this journey, you've completed this mission or this relationship or this self-seeking kind of inquiry, and you're ready now. So now I'm going to be moving on to the sign of Aquarius. Let's see what card we have. So making a timestamp. This is Four of Pentacles. Now, this is a card that deals with security, that card that deals with a foundation, having stability, having protection, having your all kind of all your ducks in a row type of feeling. And this is being challenged right now. And it has to do with financial matters as well. Like you feel like you're out of control of the financial matters. You feel like your foundation may not have been as solid as you thought it was. You feel like things are kind of shaky and all over the place, and there's no telling how they're gonna go. You can't really, you may be experiencing feeling out of control quite a bit. And that is to be expected, but this card has a lesson to you Aquariuses. It is trying to teach you something. It is trying to teach you that you can't create anything that will not, be exposed to possibly being destroyed. Nothing really can be created nor destroyed. So whatever things you surround yourself with that seem very solid and bulletproof and unshakable, they are also subject to change. They are also subject to unexpected circumstances. You can't predict and foretell everything. You can't control everything. You can't wall yourself in and protect yourself from the world or from the time or from the change. And I know for a lot of you, it may feel very unsettling. You may not feel good about this. It's okay. But the only truth of life is that the only thing that's constant is change. You can't avoid change. You can't make change not happen. You can't make change go away, even when you really, really want for it to go away. So I am encouraging you, Aquarius, to surrender. We have a lawn mowing guest here. To surrender, to accept the disruption, to accept the shaky foundation, to accept things falling down around you, and know that ultimately you are protected, that ultimately you have the connection that is your life, and that connection is with the divine. So no one can take that away. As long as you live, you are connected, you're not alone. And you have yourself to rely on. You have yourself to trust. Don't doubt. Don't doubt at this time. You will be able to rebuild. And you will build even greater foundation. You'll build an even greater castle. You'll accumulate even more material financial resources. You'll learn from this. You'll come out stronger out of this. But just don't succumb to this feeling of powerlessness, panic, and fear. Everything's okay. Everything's going to be okay. And you have you. And that's not going anywhere. So connect to that aspect. Make yourself feel safe. Make yourself feel safe. You have that capacity because you are safe. You are safe. And safety is something that you cultivate from within. It's hard to do right now, but you're being encouraged to do this for the sake of your sanity and your mental health and your physical well-being. You need to calm down and you need to accept and surrender to what's going on around you and be okay and make peace with it and trust yourself and trust that you will be able to come out of this even stronger than before. I hope this message serves you, Aquarius. I'm moving on to the final sign, Pisces. So for Pisces, we have, wow, interesting card. We have the Tower card, but it's coming up reversed, okay? Pisces friends, you're resisting this. You're fighting this so hard. You're trying to ignore what's going on around you. You're trying to not face the change. You're trying to pretend that things are not changing. You're daydreaming about things going back to normal. You're very uncomfortable with all this. So that's going on right now. I understand. This is a very stressful time. But this card is encouraging you to stop resisting change, because what you're not realizing is the more you try to deny, avoid, close your eyes, ignore, hide from what's happening, the more you're actually hurting yourself, because deep inside that's creating a very contrasting feeling of panic, because your mental faculties, your mind observes that there is in fact a crisis, that things are in fact changing, that things are in fact different. And because you're resisting it and trying to convince yourself that they're not, that it's all crazy, it's all just gonna go away, let's ignore this, let's not pay attention to this, you're creating this giant contrast that's stressing you out so much, that's making you extremely anxious, that's making it hard for you to sleep, hard for you to function when you're awake. The only solution here is to surrender. Okay, surrender to the present moment, surrender to change, surrender to what's going on, give in, just accept it. And that takes trust, but you might not be able to trust the world, but you have to trust that everything will be okay. You may not trust the external because there is no time limit on this, there is no schedule, there is no knowing how things are going to go. But you need to trust that it will all get better, and the only way to do that is kind of to really just trust yourself. Like, I'm going to be okay. I am okay. I'm going to make sure that I'm okay, but by just acknowledging what's going on, it's scary. Acknowledge your feelings. Your feelings are all valid. Acknowledge your feelings. Acknowledge the validity of how you feel. If you feel scared, acknowledge that. Stop running away from fear. Stop trying to pretend like you're not afraid. Allow it. Acknowledge it. If you feel angry, acknowledge it. If you feel really sad, acknowledge it. If you feel really stressed out, acknowledge it. And allow it. So don't try to make these emotions go away. You have to embrace them, and you have to release the struggle. You can't struggle against this. This is happening. This is the Tower card. It's happening anyway. This has nothing to do with you. But your resistance is making it very difficult for you to survive this time, because you're adding unnecessary stress and to your body, to your mentality, to your emotions. And if you just surrender and accept and observe what's happening and acknowledge your feelings, it will not make them go away. It will not resolve what's going on, but it will give you a release. It will just give you a release. Not a resolution, but release. And it's going to make you feel better. I promise you. It will make you feel better because it will remove this extra layer of trying to struggle and fight it and control it and realize you can't control it and get more frustrated. Like that's not good for you. This is really draining you. And you need energy to take care of yourself. You need energy to be okay and survive this period. So don't worry about being productive right now. Don't worry about being productive. Worry about being okay. And in order to be okay, you need to let go. You really need to just accept it, just surrender to it. I encourage you to follow this advice. It's gonna make things a lot better for you in May, a lot better. So on this note, thank you everyone for watching. I hope this reading has served you well. I look forward to doing more of these videos going forward. I've been doing some live readings on Tuesdays and Thursdays on my personal Facebook page. I'm looking to expand that to YouTube as well with time. But for now, I hope you've enjoyed the reading for your sign or for multiple signs in your astrological chart. And if you have any questions, drop a comment below. I'm also going to be listing a few options if you would like a personal reading. I have a few options that are delivered as a PDF with me laying out the cards for you remotely, and the cards are included, and the detailed, intuitively guided personal descriptions for you are included. But if you also want to do like a face-to-face Zoom, phone, Skype, type of thing, or you would like for me to record a video for you that will be like just this face-to-face kind of interaction, then also let me know. I also have an option for that. On this note, I hope you'll have a wonderful May, and I look forward to speaking with you again very shortly. All my love, as always. Take care.